Hey everybody, this is Allison from Allykatkreations. How are you? So I dug up my Keys of Enoch in pursuit of looking at the topics I'm going to do with the Emerald Tablets tonight. But I dug in a little deeper and I'm going off topic, but still on Atlantis, which will tie into the other tablets that I have already read. I mean, I've read a lot of the Keys of Enoch. This is worth the money. I will put a link down below. This is like a must read. It is not easy to read, but it's really good. And it mentions Atlantis a few times. And the portions that I found, I mean, I blew the lid off of what David Icke already blew the lid off, but doing it in my own way. But I like to tie in some evidence. But before I do that, gut health and a detox. These work. So if you have tummy troubles, you want to detox, email me. I give out samples. So we're going to start with the Keys of Enoch. On Atlantis. So I don't know if you guys remember, I was talking about an arc that Dr. Michael Salla and Elena Denon disclosed on their channels about what they found in the Atlantic Ocean off Bermuda. Well. This book was originally written in 1977. It was copywritten. That's major. So I'm on page 44, and this is 15, not key, but section 15. After this experiment ended in disaster, with the people of light intermarrying with the fallen offspring of the lords of light, and we've heard this from the tablets, another experiment was generated in an area of the world known as Atlantis. Their technology was based upon crystalline attunement of the matter and antimatter cycles of the physical and non-physical worlds. Remember what Thoth is. By stepping up or slowing down the frequency of energy between the two cycles, they could shift in time-space to occur. Angles and curves. This, however, ended in failure due to the mixing of genetic codes and factors of light by the fallen Axis lords of light, who used their crystalline technology to bring the great civilization of light into war and destruction. The last attempt in generating a high genetic people took place during the time of Egypt, 6,000 years ago, when the great people of Israel, with a higher spiritual capacity of Nefesh, were implanted to upgrade the peoples of the world by bringing the message of Jehovah and Yahweh Vadway's kingdom of light to all nations. I would say the law of one, but that's just me. So I'm just reading sections where it's Atlantis. These previous Atlantean fields of crystalline energy are being reactivated as centers of energy focus on the planet, which will be used once the Earth's inner core of neutral matter has been upheaved. New Atlantean centers will be activated from the Bermuda Triangle, the Great Salt Sea, and the Jerusalem, but USA, Hebron, which are already known as pyramid areas by the higher evolution. These areas will be used by the Jerusalem Command from the Orion to open the chambers of the earth and provide for the shifting of consciousness to the Americas, the next home of the dove, as the Father's program shifts from the Middle East to the Middle West. That's what they're talking about. That's the United States and Canada, by the way. And it goes into Central America. After the completion of the program, historically known as the Israel, which means in the original Hebrew scrolls, the consciousness of light, which contends with the higher mind until victory. Israel's a project. It's not a nation state. It's a project. What do you think is happening right now? Everybody's consciousness is starting to wake up, and those of you who are probably watching already have woken up. There will be a consciousness reprogramming. What's happening now? We're discovering all these books that have already been written, and I'm putting them out there so people who have never been exposed to these books can actually understand what's happening now. We're being reprogrammed. Of mankind on this planet in the region originally identified with Atlantis. What was I saying in the other videos? What was I saying? I said the Keys of Enoch ties in a little bit to this topic. In previous cycle, the Atlanteans were also able to live underwater. However, the Atlanteans also possess the ability to create subspecies intelligence to govern the nature of the material world. This interbreeding within these subspecies forms gave rise to a diminishing spiritual capacity and produced a nation of strong physicals who were muscular and emotionally aggressive, but did not have the higher consciousness planes, which would allow them to spiritually evolve out of the changing genetic planetary conditions. For this reason, the Council of Light permitted the Atlanteans to partially destroy themselves as a witness for other cycles of spiritual physical creation. In the age, the new bioengineers will have the ability to transmit a genetic code by laser engineering to members of another race, which would then transcribe the chemistry of that atomic form to dwell in another environment. Beds. If they ever come. In other words, the bioengineers will have the ability to use a laser-like projection by optical rotation method to demodulate a complete physical form into an energy form, which can be projected to a vehicle or an environment in the lower heavens, where it can be remodulated into the same physical form. This is called biolocation. What did we just read about Thoth? I'm not saying that Thoth went into a pod or a medbed or a device, but the same concept applies to the Keys of Enoch. And this was written again in 1977. And this is the technology that many people who seek the truth are looking into and finding out about. My goodness sakes. I'm trying to be animated, guys. I'm just mentally not here. But yes. So when I was going through this to try to pick up similarities and then reading about this and then going into my own like backdoor knowledge of the galactic stuff and like the arcs, J.J. Hertek wrote about them. He knew about them. And now they're being discovered again. But it's in a book. And now people are talking about it. But it's in here. And I'm not saying that you need to believe in Dr. Michael Salo or Elena Danon's work. Not saying that. But in all honesty, I believe them because now we're finding it in books. Like this is another source. And again, you don't need to believe in the Keys of Enoch, but I've read this cover to cover. And a lot of things, like I say, offshoot to the Law of One and the Emerald Tablets, and a little bit into a Waspe. I mean, and these are very different types of books. Very, very different types of books. The Law of One's channeled. This was on a tablet. The Enuma Elish was on a tablet. J.J. Hertek is just the man. Alex Collier. I mean, confirming all of this. The grandfather of aliens. Like, come on, people. And FYI, I forgot, like, I really want to thank the people who have been commenting. It makes me feel really, really happy when I see I get a little announcement. You got a comment. I feel so happy. And it's really refreshing. And to the person, I don't like to disclose names or anything. You can read it in the comments. About grounding. I'm sorry, I'm going to cut into this because it's on my mind. So in New York, when I first started this channel, I was doing like a spiritual ascension and, info on starseed, just basic generic information, reading from Barbara Messiniak, reading from Rebecca Campbell, and like referencing other things. And here's a kitty cat. And going through all that information, a lot of people who are not spiritually inclined, who are now having a hard time, they're going through their ascension, they are like new to all of it. And I give a lot of my advice. I do. I love to help people on their journey of just exploring and trying new things that they might have not been open to years ago. So I did a video on grounding and I went to a park, but it was very muddy. And you have cat butt in your face. I'm sorry, guys. She's behaving. But when I went to the beach, I noticed when I dropped a magnet, there was a lot of contaminants. I'm not going to say the word to be shuttered off of YouTube. But there was contaminants on the beach that I didn't want to expose my skin to. And I had gloves on when I was doing the magnet experiment. Bless you. So I'm hoping whatever myself and my circumstances are, I don't know if I'm staying in New York. I don't know if I can afford to. I'm looking for odd jobs right now. A friend is helping me out. I'm watching my neighbor's dog. Like I'm just putting the energy out there however it needs to go. So I don't know if I'm staying in New York. I don't know if I'm moving, but if I stay in New York, I will reassess those areas to ground via the spring, because it was like -7 here the other day. Too cold. Okay, so getting back to what I'm trying to discuss. Sorry, I had to go off on that tangent. I would have forgot. But I really enjoy when people comment. Thank you for all the likes. If you're resonating with my work, if you're getting something out of it, if you can't financially help me, please just give me a like. I'm trying so hard to build my community. I want to go live eventually, but I want to have a good conversation. And I don't want to preemptively do lives and say then I'm going to do them and then my internet or electric shuts off. So I don't want to put myself in that position where I own up to my promises and my word. So I'm going to hold off to see what I'm able to do for this month in terms of being able to pay my bills so that I can start doing some lives. If anybody's interested, please leave comments if you're interested in doing a live where I talk about whatever topic, Keys of Enoch, the Atlantis stuff, and you guys can chime in and we can have a healthy conversation. I'm open to doing that. I don't have any streaming platform equipment, downloads, any of that. I can't afford it, but I do have what I have. I can go live. So I'm bare minimum Allison. I got my books. So just to put that one out there before I go and move in further with the Keys of Enoch. Yeah, I have amazing people that are helping get this information out, who are resonating with it. And it makes me excited that I'm not alone. Literally, I'm not alone. And that gives me a sense of purpose, because when you're in my situation and you don't have anybody, literally, and I'm not being mean, I have like 2 girlfriends here who have been nothing but supportive and helping in any way that they can. I have a few friends from like high school, that's like 20 years ago, who have helped me out and are very supportive, but they have families, they're married, and I'm not. I'm by myself. I don't have, and I have family, but I don't have any means of support from anybody. It's just people like you. So it makes me feel really humble and really appreciative when people like my comments, when people comment, when people email me. It really gives me purpose, because right now I don't know how much more of waiting I can be given. And I hope my spirit team heard that. Like, I can't wait any longer. 4 months now, going on 5 with no, like, this is not okay. But back to the book before I start killing my makeup here. So I have one more section on the Atlantis topic from the Keys of Enoch that I want to touch upon. And then we're going to go into the tablets. Okay, promise. So besides the one about the arc, the crystalline structure in the Bermuda Triangle, this caught me, like, I read it, but now the gears are grinding in my head. I was so excited when I read this. Really, really excited. Here's why. 3 of the most important grid areas, the ley line grids, in Tibet, Israel, and Atlantis, America. So it's ALTEA, America. Let me finish and then I'll talk. Metatron showed me how the great land of Atlantis, America, was to be the new middle land of Earth. The meeting place for the scriptures of Tibet being transferred from the east, and the scriptures of Israel being transferred from the west. And I saw how Atlantis, America, became the new grid of unity for creation and the place for the meeting of the higher evolutionary council upon the face of the earth. I was shown by Metatron how America was being prepared to be the restored area for the returning programmers of the Father's will. Atlantis, America, will be seen as the template for consciousness regeneration, global communication, and the center for the unity among the children of God. So on Telegram, I belong to a group who posts about the earthquakes and the tectonic plates and how they're moving. And I also follow a lot of, even though I'm on the toroidal Earth model, like it's flat and toroidal. I'm sorry, can't pronounce that word properly, but you know what I'm talking about, okay? I still watch what people are projecting because they're independent and they have their own models. So the poles are shifting. The poles are shifting. And what is Okay, I have to formulate this without getting censored. How can I do that? For entertainment purposes only, America is leading the way in space, whether it's the interdimensional platform, whether it's outside of the firmament, whatever you want to configure spaces, okay? Number 45 signed the Artemis Accords. Excuse me, since Dr. Michael Salla and Elena Danaan had spoken on the Artemis Accords and what countries are a part of the Artemis Accords, and there are more countries joining. America is leading the planet in the space-faring age. We'll be heading that up, and that was determined by the Galactic Federation and the Confederation. They determined that the United States would be leading that. Now, there is a huge reason for that. And if you go to the episode that I taped, but it's on VidShoot because of the book about the history lesson, it's going to tell you about how Americans have zero clue about having two constitutions, the Articles of Confederation, the Geneva Convention, the Nuremberg Code, all of that stuff. Many of us are aware of, but the Admiralty land law stuff, the corporation, a lot of people are not aware that the United States became a corporation in 1871, and that a lot of things were not put in our textbooks. So it's not that Americans are ignorant. They've been brainwashed, and they have also been misled by in Tablet 8, those evil things that have taken over the governments. So Americans have zero idea about a lot of what actually happens in government, because things have been rewritten and re-amended without the knowledge of it first ever being changed, because they don't tell you what they do. Most governments don't tell you what they do. They do it and then they tell you whenever you ask, but who's there to ask, right? So this is what America's issue is. Many people want to stand up, but then again, the problem is our resistance. Whereas in Canada, there's really, yeah, they're being paid to go up and cause some carnage and damage, but people are aware of that, and the Canadians are amazing people. And when it talks about Atlantis America, it's not just talking about America, it's talking about Canada as well. And most likely Mexico. I really hoping that if and when things do happen, whatever the British monarch held, America takes. And I'm hoping that the world structures itself under what we originally in America had, which is sovereignty and God's law. Whatever God you choose to, just the golden rule, okay? Like, do unto others how you would want to be treated. Just simple, basic stuff. And that just screams it right there. It screams it. And I have a feeling when Earth Alliance and our galactic friends took hold and claim of the Vatican, that those scrolls and scriptures are in the safe hands here in America. and I'm just going to say this before, because I think it's very important that people understand we're at a very big tipping point right now. A lot's happening in the news and a lot's not being shown. What you think is going on isn't really what you shut the television off, guys. Like the mainstream television shut it off. But a lot of people aren't aware because it's just not being seen. A lot of people tune into the television to get their information. You know, the older generation, that's how they, it's fine. It's just MK Ultra brainwashing. Okay. But a lot of people are unaware that we're going through heavy energy on a spiritual level. We're being upgraded genetically. If you're into the spiritualism and you're understanding that your ears are buzzing all the time, they feel like they're ringing, you feel like you're sick, you're exhausted all the time. It's not, and you're healthy, it's not the other thing, it's ascension symptoms, and you're upgrading. And also, just to timestamp this, we have a new moon, and then it's Chinese New Year. So to all my, if anybody in that celebrates Chinese New Year, I want to say Happy New Year and let's go Tiger. It's beautiful. It really is. I like celebrating everybody. We all deserve, all of us deserve a better world. All of us deserve to be free and to be able to express ourselves without persecution, without having the carnage that we see in and around the world. And it makes me very emotional because it's not the common day people that are around us that are bad. It's not. It's the people in charge. And I think a lot of people are being aware of that fact, that it's not the Chinese people who are wanting this stuff. They didn't release anything. They're just living and trying to survive as much as everybody else. And that can go for any country. What these people have done to humanity is utterly disgusting. And it's now our job. It's not just me, it's we. It's our job now to re-educate, to go back, to look at these books. They're not infiltrated. A lot of the stuff that I'm reading is not infiltrated at all by negative force. These were breached. These were not breached. We have to go back and we have to relearn history in order to move forward, in order to understand what happened and took place. And no, it's not everybody that's going to want to know about this information. But even in the groups that I watch and read all the articles that people send, it's great to have a different opinion and perspective, and it's wanted. It doesn't make anybody wrong or right. The important idea is to critically think and not attack somebody for thinking differently from you, or that they're just discovering it and they don't know how to maybe question things. Like, spread the word out. Stop attacking people who are into whatever, the agnostic stuff. We need to learn all of this. And it should be okay that people question. Just do it in a respectful way. And if somebody's being, disrespectful, like be the person that interacts and says, you don't need to, here's a nicer and kinder way to state that. I try to do that all the time. Now, the emerald tablets. So I'm going to read tablet 10, the Key of Time. Originally, I wanted to go through the Keys of Enoch because they have a lot about time and space and stuff of that nature. But I thought the Atlantean stuff that was said was vital to hear because I've been talking about it with the other tablets. So I'm probably going to keep, because of the time and me ranting, keep it to this one. And then I'll pick up on the other, as long as my electric doesn't get shut off. So I'm going to start with Thoth. List ye, O man, take of my wisdom, learn of the deep hidden mysteries of space, learn of the thought that grew in the abyss, bringing the order and harmony in space. Know ye, O man, that all that exists has being only because of the law. Know ye the law, and ye shall be free. Never be bound by the fetters of night. Far through strange spaces have I journeyed into the depth of the abyss of time, learning strange and yet stranger mysteries, until in the end all was revealed. Know ye that mystery is only mystery, when it is knowledge unknown to man. When ye have plummeted the heart of all mystery, knowledge and wisdom will surely be thine. That's how we're going to win. Learning. Seek ye and learn that time is the secret, whereby ye may be free of this space. Long have I, Thoth, sought wisdom, and shall seek to eternity's end. For know I that ever before me receding shall move the goal I seek to obtain. Even the lords of the cycles know that not yet have they reached the goal. For with all of their wisdom, they know the truth ever grows. Once in a past time, I spoke to the dweller, asked of the mystery of time and space, asked him the question that searched in my being, saying, O master, what is time? Then to me spoke he, the master. Know ye, O Thoth, in the beginning there was void and nothingness, a timeless, spaceless nothingness. And into the nothingness came a thought, purposeful, all-pervading, and it filled the void. There existed no matter, only force, a movement, a vortex, or vibration of the purposeful thought that filled the void. And I questioned the master, saying, was this thought eternal? And answered me the dweller, saying, in the beginning there was eternal thought. And for thought to be eternal, time must exist. So into the all-pervading thought grew the law of time. Time which exists through all space, floating in a smooth rhythmic movement that is eternally in a state of fixation. Time changes not, but all things change in time. For time is the force that holds events separate, each in its proper place. Time is not in motion, but ye move through time, as your consciousness moves from one event to another. by time ye exist, all in all, an eternal one exists. Know ye that even though in time ye are separate, yet still are one in all times existent. Cease then the voice of the dweller, and I parted I to ponder on time. For I knew that in these words lay wisdom and a way to explore the mysteries of time. Often did I ponder the words of the dweller. Then sought I to solve the mystery of time. Found I that time moves through strange angles, yet only by curves could I hope to obtain the key that would give me access to time-space. Found I that only by moving upward and yet again by moving to rightward could I be free from the time of this movement. Forth I came from out of my body, moved in the movement that changed me in time. Strange were the sights I saw in my journeys, many the mysteries that opened to view. I saw a man's beginning, learned from the past that nothing is new. Seek ye, O man, to learn the pathway that leads through the spaces that are formed forth in time. Forget not, O man, with all of thy seeking, that light is the goal ye shall seek to obtain. Search ye ever for light on the pathway, and ever for thee the goal shall endure. Before I read the commentary, going back, Thoth in the beginning there was void and nothingness, sounds just like the Norse mythology. I hate to call it mythology because it's not mythology. Sorry guys, I want to move this to a better situation. So it sounds like Ginnaganat. I know I'm sorry, my Scandinavian friends. Sounds just like that. How there was nothing and then. But in Hyperionism, if anybody follows that, thought, consciousness became in a cyclic movement, like a yin yang, until chaos ensued and boop, 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 things started happening. Thought that was just very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, the commentary. The thought which grew in the abyss was the first expression of activity and movement. Without law, which is order, nothing could exist in form. Time, the great secret, is a key to freedom. For when man conquers time, he has also conquered death. The infinite jewel of truth can never be fully read, for truth brings forth extensions of itself. And as one truth is mastered, other truths appear. Thoth questions the dweller about time and space, and the dweller tells him of the beginning of all things in the great void. He tells him of thought, which sprang into being, and is questioned as to thought being eternal. The answer of the dweller is so plain as to need little amplification to those who have studied the 6th and 7th grades of the Brotherhood College work. Thoth finds that time is angular in movement, yet being within curved walls. And to penetrate into past time, The consciousness must be moved into curves started in the pineal. The same exercise given earlier. Thoth mastered time and was able to move backward and forward in time, seeing strange sights and learning from sights man's beginning. Thoth again exhorts men to seek for light, for only thus can they know their own soul. He also tells that in all matter, light or consciousness exists, though not always consciousness. Thoth tells of the wonderful experience in Amenti when the lords opened the path to their own cycles and allowed him to see with his own eyes that which exists beyond from this. Thoth learned that progression and order are the same in all cosmic cycles, and that all are working in harmony toward the same end. Thoth was able to see the purpose behind the pushing out into space of cosmic cycles, and with the Lord of Nine, could feel the drawing together of the extensions of the different eye gods. He learned that in words, which are examples of vibration, lie the key to the opening of spaces and even cycles. He gives a vibration word, which is the key of life. He speaks of interlocking worlds and spaces set apart from the one in which we dwell. Each of these filled with manifestations of consciousness. He then relates a wonderful experience of calling from within the sixth dimension one who had been imprisoned by the lords of Arulu. That also speaks to me, quantum entanglement and the multiverse theory. That there's multiple universes within the universe and the mirror effect. And the fact that we're all entangled to our oversoul, or overself, our higher self, whatever you want to call it. And that time travel is real. She was one who, when we occupied the past cosmic cycle, attempted to come into the cosmic cycle and failed, and was imprisoned by the lords of Arulu. Thoth, through his knowledge, opens the gateway and calls forth this imprisoned consciousness. He commands the lords to release her, and by their secret names, forces obedience. She then again becomes a part of this consciousness of which she once before was a part of. He states that knowledge is called magic by the ignorant and tells them not to be afraid, for all is manifestation of law. Everyone has the force if he knows how to use it. We're in Star Wars now, guys. But few have the knowledge. Those who fear the unknown make the fear of living thing. All fears of mankind have their source in dark lords. Conquer fear and be free. That's what we all need to do right now. Get out of the fear vibration and move up. That's not to say you're not supposed to have stress. It's not to say that you're not supposed to be going through a nightmare. Don't fear it. I don't fear it. I'm uncomfortable. I'm upset. I'm angry. But I'm not in fear. Especially after 9/11, I was in fear because I watched it all go down with my own eyes. I was impacted by it. And I let that fear put me into survival mode. So anytime I traveled out of the vicinity of where I am, I had to make sure that I had enough supplies on me in my bag to make sure if something like that ever happened again, I would be okay. You can't live like that. Although it would be smart to do that anyway now. Let me finish. Man makes himself according to his thought, a being of light or one of darkness. Get out of the fear vibration. Get out of it. Know that what you're being told for 2 years, 3 years now straight, it was all to divide people. There's a lot of evidence. I post a lot of that on my Telegram channel of how everybody's been duped into being in the fear complex because of said germ. When everybody must understand that you have an immune system that normally children are supposed to get sick constantly. I mean, I was sick all the time when I was a little kid, but that built my immune system up. I haven't gotten smallpox, rubella, all that stuff didn't happen. I'm fine, right? None of us seen that we got for it and we're fine. Tell me how this happens and you get it again. Maybe 2 times. There's nothing to fear. There is things to cure, well, not to cure it, to take care of it. Get out of that fear. If you're in it, get out of it. There are people now fearing death of loved ones. There are people like myself who will lose their homes. Well, I might not lose my home, eventually will, but will lose the ability to feed themselves, to put the heat on because it's really cold here. There's a lot that one can fear. Don't live in that vibration. Raise your vibration. We have to be the change moving forward in this humanity. All of us have to come together and do our part. And my part right now is trying to help awaken people. And yes, this content has been put out by many other people. I'm trying to make connections that might not have been made before. I'm trying to give a different spin on things. But to those who are listening, it's our time. We have to not make the mistake that this culture did, as it was stated in the Keys of Enoch. Many of us were there in Atlantis. Many, not all, but many. Many people were wiped out. And we're in that perpetual cycle of coming back and being reborn, being reborn. And even if we were not, we're being led up back up there. We got our work done. And then, oh, we're really nice people. We want to help humanity. And we decide to come back into hell. So the rest of this is Thoth. Let not thine heart turn ever to darkness. Light let thine soul be. a sun on the way. Know ye that in the eternal brightness ye shall ever find thy soul hid in the light, ever never fettered by bondage to darkness. Ever it shines forth a sun of the light. I know, though hidden in darkness, your soul, a spark of the true flame exists. Be ye one with the greatest of all lights. Find at the source the end of thy goal. Light is life, for without the great light, nothing can ever exist. Know ye that in all form matter, the heart of light always exists. I, even though bound in the darkness, inherent light always exists. Once I stood in the halls of Amenti and heard the voice of the lords of Amenti, saying in tones that rang through the silence, words of power, mighty and potent. Chanted they the song of the cycles, the words that open the path to beyond. I saw the great path opened and looked for an instant into the beyond. Saw I the movement of the cycles, vast as thought of the source could convey. Knew I then that even infinity is moving on to some unthinkable end. Saw I that the cosmos is order and part of a movement that extends to all space, a part of an order of orders, constantly moving in a harmony of space. Saw I the wheeling of cycles, like vast circles across the sky. Knew I then that all that has being is growing to meet yet another being in a far-off grouping of space and of time. Knew I then that in words are power to open the plains that are hidden from man. I, that even in the words lies hidden the key that will open above and below. Hark ye now, man, this word I leave with thee. Use it, and ye shall find power in all in its sound. Say ye the word Zin Uru, and power ye shall find. Yet must ye understand that man is of light, and light is of men. List ye, O man, and hear a mystery stranger than all the lies neath the sun. Know ye, O man, that all space is filled by worlds within worlds. I, one within the other, yet separate by law. Once in my search for deep buried wisdom, I opened the door that bars them from men. Called I from other planes of being, one who was fairer than the daughters of men. I called her from out of the spaces to shine as a light in the world of men. Used I the drum of the serpent, wore I the robe of the purple and gold. Placed on my head I the crown of silver. Around me the circle of cinnabar shone. Raised I my arms and cried the invocation that opens the path to the plains beyond. Cried to the lords of the signs in their houses, lords of the two horizons, watchers of the treble gates. Stand ye one at the right and one at the left, as the star raises to his throne and rules over his sign. I, thou dark prince of Arulu, open the gates of the dim hidden land and release her whom ye kept imprisoned. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye, dark lords and shining ones, and by their secret names which I know and I can pronounce, Hear ye and obey my will. Let I then with flame my circle and called her in the space plains beyond. Daughter of the light, return from Arulu. 7 times and 7 times have I passed through the fire. Food have I not eaten, water have I not drunken. I called thee from Arulu, from the realm of Eker Shigal. I summon thee, Lady of Light. Then before me rose the dark figures, the figures of the lords of Arulu. Parted they before me, and forth came the Lady of Light. Free was she now from the lords of the night, free to live in the light of the earth's sun, free to live as a child of light. Hear ye and listen, O my children. Magic is knowledge and only is law. Be not afraid of the power within thee, for it follows law as the stars in the sky. Know ye that to he without knowledge, wisdom is magic and not of the law. But know ye that ever ye by your knowledge can approach closer to the place in the sun. List ye, my children, follow my teaching. Be ye ever seeker of light. Shine in the world of men all around thee, a light on the path that shall shine among men. Follow ye and learn of my magic. Know that all force is thine if thou wilt. Fear not the path that leads thee to knowledge, but rather shun ye the dark road. Light is thine, O man, for the taking. Cast off the fetters, and thou shalt be free. Know ye that thy soul is living in bondage, fettered by fear that holds ye in thrall. Open thy eyes and see the great sunlight. Be not afraid, for all is thy own. Fear is the lord of the dark Arulu, to he who has never faced a dark fear. I know the fear has existence, created by those who are bound by the fears. Someone's thinking of me. My nose is itchy again. Shake off thy bondage, O children, and walk in the light of the glorious day. Never turn they thoughts to darkness, and surely ye be one with the light. Man is only what he believeth, a brother of darkness or a child of the light. Come thou into the light, my children, walk in the pathway that leads to the sun. Hark ye now and listen to the wisdom. Use thou the word I have given unto thee. Use it, surely thou shalt find power and wisdom, and light to walk in the way. Seek thee and find the key I have given, and ever shalt thou be a child of the light. He says it. What are you going to seek? The light or the dark? But you have to have both. You have to have both. I actually do better when I'm in the darkness, knowing that I am the light that needs to light my pathway forward. You need to know from the bad in order to know from the good. Vice versa. It's also soul growth, consciousness growth. You can't obtain knowledge and wisdom without knowing from all, without having experiences and going through challenging times, because your soul won't grow. But I hope that all of you got a lot out of that. Though I wanted to compare the time-space stuff, because there's a lot of theories on the space and the time, but there's a really good spin here. and I might go further into it. I have to cross-check with other books, but I really hope that you enjoyed tablet 10. The next tablet I will read is 11, and the key to above and below. And then 12, the law of cause and effect, the key of prophecy. And then there's quite a few more left. But I really hope that you enjoyed. If you liked this video, if you like the comparison between the Keys of Enoch and the Emerald Tablets, please write some comments below. I love reading them. It makes me happy. Instead of getting welled up and all teary-eyed and snipply, it brings me joy. Please like my videos, help the algorithm get this across to people who might be interested. My channel is very tiny. It is growing, which is amazing, and thank you for the support. It makes me happy to know that more people are being exposed and more people are watching. I can't thank you guys enough. It's the gratitude and the feeling makes me really happy. And know that things in the next month are going to be bananas. And just be prepared. By reading this book, by comparing, by going through all the things that I went through my channel, through my own journey, we have to have perseverance. We are the Atlanteans. We're doing this the second time, but instead of getting wiped out, it's our job now to stay here and to stay alive and to make sure that we are bringing in the light. We're going to have peace, harmony, and prosperity across the planet to all living beings. And it is possible. We just have to play out this stupid movie. We're living in the Matrix and the Truman Show at once. It is what it is. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed that. I got my folder from my adoption. I really wanted to show some documents. I'm still looking for a few and some other information, because that's another topic that I would like to touch upon, not just to expose certain things and evils that are happening within the community, but that you have to have hope for people that are in the situation that I was in and still am sort of in, because my adoption was closed. But that's going to be on another video. But I wish everybody find the peace within, find the light within, sending all of you love and light. Until the next video, guys, let's hope I have power. Let's hope I can miraculously pay some bills. I'm going to put it out into the ether, asking my angels and asking everybody in my spirit crew that I need major help now. I cannot no longer wait. And I'm hoping that somehow, some way, something really good comes my way. But until then, I'm going to keep trucking on. Have a wonderful and a beautiful day. Please comment, please like, and if you don't mind, please subscribe. I'm not asking you to share, but if you find it awesome, do that too. Thank you guys.